I read a recent survey that said only 10% of people have clarity about what they should do to get promoted at work. Well, today I'm going to focus on one area that is a guarantee if you want to get promoted, and that is develop and expand your emotional intelligence. If you're looking for a promotion, stay tuned today. We're going to look at 5 areas in which EQ can help you take it to the next level and make you promotion ready. Also stay tuned because at the end, I'm going to offer you a free on-demand e-course which looks at different ways that you can expand your emotional intelligence. People who get promoted generally are able to handle stress and friction within the workplace. And indeed, this also is a great sign of emotional intelligence. Why? Because with emotional intelligence, we have this ability, first of all, to have self-awareness, to know what's happening within myself whenever I am stressed. Because so often when I'm stressed, what that leads to is the temptation to act immediately and perhaps to act in a way that is inconsistent for what we would like to do. And so emotionally intelligent people therefore are able to be aware of some of the triggers that they're going through and what that trigger might mean in terms of how they might act, and to be able to insert this little buffer which gives them time to become conscious of the stress they're feeling, perhaps the trigger that's happened, and then to be more conscious of the choice of behavior and action they want to take. Further, emotionally intelligent people are able to read those around them. So they're able to see in the workplace whenever stress is widespread, really get to the core of what's stressing people out without themselves becoming overly stressed, because they have that self-awareness as well to prevent that being overly reactive in that situation. Area number 2 is that people who tend to get promoted are active learners, and this is a sign as well of high emotional intelligence. Indeed, we have a word for it. It's called self-actualization. And what self-actualization means is the ability to set goals in our life, the ability to stretch ourselves, the ability to set areas that need to be improved. And all of that is this constant learning. It's this ability to know that once I have learned and perfected this, then there's also a next step. And people with high emotional intelligence tend to be hungry for more learning. They tend to really approve of feedback because that feedback gives them knowledge about how they're doing and how they might improve. So if you're looking for promotion, a good way is to constantly ask yourself, what do I need to learn? What is the next level? And how might I stretch myself a little bit more? Perhaps even becoming uncomfortable, because part of that discomfort can be a learning experience. The third area that helps emotionally intelligent people get promoted is on the area of relationship and relationship development. See, the world of work has changed a lot. Just in the last year, we have gone through a massive change of the movement away from working in physical locations together to working at home. And yet this point remains the same. The world of work is a network of relationships. And people who can navigate relationships well are more likely to get promoted. People with high emotional intelligence are able to show the other person that they're truly interested in them through their listening skills. They find it easier to build up relationships with others. And you know, at the core of promotion and advancement is having the right relationships with people in your organization. I remember working with a leader a few years ago, and one of the areas that they were asked to develop was political savvy. Maybe you've heard of that as well. And they were confused. What exactly is political savvy? How do I develop political savvy? Well, really at the core of political savvy is this. It's about knowing the right people and developing relationships with them. And so therefore, emotionally intelligent people are able to look at the network of relationships in their organizations and know which relationships they need to cultivate. And what's more, they have the skill set to develop those relationships. Area number 4 is empathy. You know, it's really interesting. In the last 2 years, if you do a little research and you look at leadership journals and leadership articles, this word empathy keeps coming up time and time and time again. And why is that? Because a lot of the research is pointing to the reality that people who have high levels of empathy tend to navigate the workplace better, and as leaders create a more stable workplace environment. And that translates into a lower turnout, and it translates into higher productivity. And so emotionally intelligent people are able to show empathy. They're able literally to walk in the shoes of others. They're able not only to realize what the person is going through, but they're able to respond as well and help the person feel that they are concerned about them. You know the famous quote from Maya Angelou, that people will forget what you said, however, they will not forget how you made them feel. And that's exactly at the core of what empathy is. Because when we have high levels of empathy and we interact with people, people will remember how we made them feel. Because our empathy skills are apparent and the person feels that we are truly concerned about them. The 5th area is conflict. Now, workplace conflict happens. And if we are looking to get promoted, then we're going to have to deal with conflict. Now, conflict is not necessarily always bad. Sometimes conflict is very healthy because conflict can be the debate of different ideas. And if we want a level of ingenuity in our organization, then we have to have some debate of those ideas. However, conflict can also be destructive. And emotionally intelligent people, first of all, are very aware of their, what I call their own conflict story. They're aware of how they deal with conflict or perhaps do not deal with conflict. And they're also able to intersect themselves in a conflict and truly get to the core of what might be happening. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to try and do. We want to try and move any conversation, any breakdown in communication. And if we can successfully deal with conflict, successfully move conversation along, then we are making ourselves prime candidates for promotion. 5 areas that emotional intelligence can really prove your worth and make you promotion ready. As we've gone through these 5 areas, perhaps there's 1 or 2 you're thinking, you know what? I maybe need to work on these and expand them. And if that's the case, I invite you to click on the link below. It will take you to a registration page for a free on-demand e-course called Emotional Intelligence Roadmap. There you're going to learn more about this concept of emotional intelligence and how you can grow within yourself. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, to click the bell to be reminded of new videos. Each week, I push out new content in the area of leadership and emotional intelligence. Finally, if you've enjoyed this video, I invite you to watch the next video, which looks at how we might regulate our emotions in the workplace.